Welcome to The Topic, where we highlight Houston Community College, our students, our programs, and our reach into the community. I'm Todd Duplantis. If you're watching us on YouTube, social media, or HCC TV, you can also download all of our podcasts at hccs.edu/podcast. We've got a very special show for you today. Two young entrepreneurs joining me now, Nigel and Shane Mushambi, and they're both here from Two Brothers in the Kitchen. You guys are entrepreneurs, you're authors, you motivational speakers as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And philanthropists.
Yes.
And one of you is an HCC student, correct?
Me.
Shane, correct?
Yes.
And you're just doing it all here. And I want to talk first about the bakery you have going on, because that's how we were first introduced to you guys. Y'all were on one of our other shows. You have a bakery, and tell me about getting in the kitchen. Y'all been doing this all your life?
So we've been baking pretty much our whole entire life.
Yeah.
So we started baking. How old were we when we started baking? We couldn't even reach the counter when we started. And then we kind of stopped for a bit, and then we got back into it a few years ago. Then we entered a cake baking competition.
Right.
And we won that competition. So we decided to start our business.
Now, Nigel, are you the CEO or the CFO?
CFO.
You're the, okay, why are you the CFO as opposed to the CEO?
Well, when I first started baking, I wanted to buy a Nintendo Switch. So I started by myself selling strawberry cakes.
Right.
So basically, I'd sold a lot of cakes that weekend, and I wanted to go buy a game for my Switch. So it turns out that I ran out of money, so I didn't have enough money to buy ingredients. So that taught me a valuable lesson on finances. So they decided to make me the CFO.
So you're the CFO and you're the CEO.
Yeah.
Can you tell him what to do, or do both of you guys have equal input?
It's pretty equal.
Oh, equal
and then our
input.
mom has
okay. Your mom has the final say so. And we're going to meet Mom in shortly, by the way. Your website is www.brositk.com. And from what I understand, you guys do a lot of philanthropy, meaning you give back to the community. Mm-hmm. What started you with that? Why do you do that?
So we've done that since a young age too. So we started off when we went to McDonald's. Instead of keeping our toys, we would whenever we had toys we didn't use anymore,
right.
We'd put them in a box, and once every year we'd take them to a hospital, and we would just give them out. So we couldn't actually go to the hospital. We would go to the emergency room to the nurses that hand them out.
And you're also raising money for a foundation, the J.B. Dondolo Foundation. Tell me about that.
So the J.B. Dondolo Foundation is an amazing foundation. So they provide water to kids in Zimbabwe currently. So they're trying to give water to a hospital in Zimbabwe. So like an interesting story that we realized that was we were said, can we put our money towards the toilet? And they said, sure, but we need to, and they came back the next day saying, sorry, we can't put it to the toilet, but we need to put it towards the water.
Right.
Because the toilet had no water.
So they really need water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your portion of your funds are going to this foundation.
Yes.
And tell me about that. You have a wide menu. Now, I was looking at your menu, and it kind of piqued my interest because I have a sweet tooth. I try to stay away from carbs, if you guys know what those are.
Yes.
You know? And maybe you can come up with a keto diet for us. But I noticed on your menu, you got cupcakes. Cake in a jar is one of the things.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, a basic cake, cupcake, push-ups, and chocolate dip pretzels.
Yes.
What do you enjoy, and what's your most popular item?
Our most popular item is
vanilla cupcakes. With
it's chocolate because I make them.
Because you make them.
Yeah.
It's for him, it's chocolate. Our most popular is probably vanilla.
Right.
And with the different icings on it, or chocolate with different icings on it. And then the next one would probably be like coffee.
Okay.
My favorite to make is probably the sweet potato cupcakes.
The sweet potato. Now that sounds interesting. So those are sweet potato cupcakes, and you make them. Everything's made custom order, correct?
Yes, whenever you
everything
order them.
So whenever you order them, you make them then. Cake in a jar. Tell me about this, because that sounds fascinating.
The cake in the jar is basically it's like a cake push-up, which is also like you just like stack a cake.
Okay.
And so it's basically.
Do you bake it in the jar?
No.
Okay.
I wish we could do that, but so you just put it in the jar, and it's basically just like a cake.
Okay.
Except it's like a really small version of it.
Okay.
So
Are those pretty popular too?
Yes, they're really popular.
It's really good if you have for like 2 people.
Yeah.
Or events. They're very popular at events.
Right.
So
Because
people buy them.
You can eat a little bit, close it. take it around.
Yeah, well, I don't think that you'd eat just a little bit. You probably just eat the whole thing, and then you
Yeah.
got a jar left over.
Uh,
Now, I notice that you guys also are, you're chefs, but you're entrepreneurs with this business. And you've written a book. Tell me about the book. The book is called Beyond the Kitchen, and it's tips on success in life's mistakes. So tell me about the book itself.
So our book is about the mistakes man should have made and how we learn from it.
Right.
And you don't have to be perfect to succeed. So basically, we just go over our mistakes and how we learn from them and how we got success from it. So our chapters, we just cover some of the things like honesty, efficiency, be ready for your chance, and work ethic. So my favorite chapter is stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Because that's a lesson
So-
that all of us need to learn, right?
So just don't go out, just like stay in your lane. Don't bother other people if you don't have to.
Right.
So there's a couple of stories in here.
And, staying in your lane could be another thing, too, is like don't let other people bother you as well. You form your own little bubble, and if somebody's bothering you, just stay in your own lane and concentrate on what you're doing, too, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So do you guys take your show on the road? I know you do. You've been on several TV shows. You've been on the national news, CBS News this morning, and ABC's done things in you guys. Do you take your show on the road? Do you go out and do cooking demonstrations as well?
No, not really. We haven't done that.
Well, we do travel to, like, if someone orders a big enough order,
Okay.
we'll travel. Like this week, we went to Dallas to do a wedding cake.
Wow. Okay. And you did the cake up there?
Yeah.
Do you like doing wedding cakes?
Yes, I really like doing wedding
I like
cakes.
wedding cakes and cupcakes.
Now, is a wedding cake's a pretty complicated thing. How many layers was it?
That one was how many?
I don't
6.
remember.
6 layers?
Yes.
Wow.
2 tiers, 6 layers.
2 tiers, 6 layers. What flavor was it?
Chocolate and vanilla.
Chocolate and vanilla, and that was a custom order as well.
Yes.
Yes.
The rosettes going from light to dark, from top to bottom.
And for something like that, you guys put this all together, and obviously you go with your mom and you make the delivery. Do you deliver it in person?
Yes, we always deliver in person unless
much,
we're
yep.
unless we're unable to.
Unless we're busy.
Now, Shane, you're the one who's the HCC student, correct?
Yes.
Are you going through the dual credit program?
Yes.
And how is that working for you? What are you studying?
Right now I'm doing engineering.
Engineering.
Yes.
Okay. And are you taking courses at one of our high schools? How does that work?
So we're homeschooled.
Okay.
And then I do engineering on Thursday.
On Thursday. Okay. All right. And is this something you're looking at getting into in the future, or do you think you guys can continue with this business
We
here?
might continue this if we might also do engineering.
Engineering as
It's
well.
just engineering's a class I like. So.
Any specific engineering field you want to get into? Maybe civil engineering, building homes. What are you looking at doing?
Probably, I'm not sure. Computer engineering.
Computer engineering. All right. So building computers, maybe software.
Maybe.
All right. I know you two like playing games because I've seen that online. What's your favorite game?
Fortnite. of
Fortnite.
course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And
so we're probably, Fortnite and then Apex Legends.
Don't
Apex
say that.
Legends. Okay.
Nigel, Apex is good.
Who's the better game player?
Oh, easily me.
Nigel.
Easily, Nigel.
easily
okay.
me.
Do you agree with that? Sometimes? No. All right.
Well, I've won a couple tournaments here. So.
All right. Well, Nigel and Shane Mushambi we're speaking with right now from Two Brothers in the Kitchen. And we're going to be back in just a few moments. We're going to talk more with them, but we're also going to meet Mom in a few moments here on The Topic, a special edition with one of our students here at HCC. I'm Todd Duplantis. We'll be right back.
HCC. So many locations. So little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
Welcome back to The Topic. I'm Todd Duplantis. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a very special show. Very excited about this. We've got one of our HCC students, a dual credit student, Shane Mushambi, here with his brother Nigel. They operate Two Brothers in the Kitchen, a bakery, and we're joined now by their mom, Trinda. Thanks for being here on The Topic.
Thanks for having us.
You've got some incredible sons. I'm sure you're very proud of the work they're doing and where they're headed and how they're goofing around, and they seem to have a good time together.
Yes, yes.
Obviously you had a big part in getting this bakery started with them. How did this all come about? Was it something you discussed with them and thought, well, one day we're going to do this? How did this first generate?
It kind of just fell into place. It started with, I think they mentioned the church competition.
Right.
So
How long ago was that?
It was 3 years ago.
Okay.
We were coming back from a field trip and told them to make a cake for charity. And when we walked in, it was I think our first event there at the church. We were kind of new. And we didn't know it was a serious competition. And so, but they ended up winning. And I was surprised because their cake looked like someone just kind of did some magic voodoo or something
Right.
on it. And everybody else's cake looked beautiful, but they said their cake was amazing. So for the next 2 years, they were like, okay, we need to step up our game.
Right.
And then people just start ordering cakes.
Now, I read somewhere that a lot of these recipes came from Grandma.
Yes.
Okay, and tell me about that. Was it your mom that you got the
Yes.
recipes from? And were you able to get these to them, or how did it work?
They went to my mom.
Okay.
And she taught them. I don't bake. No.
You don't bake at all, huh?
No.
Not
no.
even cookies.
No. There's a funny story. Even when I have like church events, letting all the secrets out,
Right.
they normally bake for me. There was a Women's Day event.
I remember
and
that.
and I had to take cookies, and so they said, okay, just take the roll of cookies, put them
Right.
in the oven, and you'll be fine. I put the roll of cookies in the oven. They came out and they're like crunchy. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna put my name on
The
the cookie.
cookies,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna kind of like slide them in there, and I walk out the door and they break. So I'm like, okay, that must be really bad.
Well, I feel your pain. My wife, I do all the cooking at our house. My wife, we
Okay.
share the duties. But my wife's kids had told her, could she please stop baking cookies? Because what she'd do is she'd buy the can of cookies that come in the roll, put them in the oven, and just go do other things like cleaning and stuff,
Yes.
and then forget about the cookies. And they were always getting burned. So they finally said,
Crispy.
look, buy us pre-made cookies, don't bake any more cookies. So I guess you guys were kind of the same way. Mom, let us handle the baking. right?
Yes.
Not quite, but
Somewhat.
Yes.
Tell me about the book and the inspiration for the book. Did you work with them on the book,
Oh,
with
yeah.
coming up with the ideas? And,
yeah, she helped a lot on that
Yes,
book.
we helped. As far as really just gotten them through it, but they did 90% of the work. I did help with the editing as far
Sure.
as grammar, but the idea came from it was one of my kids. He's a perfectionist. Someone teach him he can make mistakes.
Right.
And another thing what happened was when parents came and picked up orders, they would say something that would kind of like break my heart. They would say, man, I wish my kids were like your kids. I'm thinking, but your kids was great the way
Right.
they are.
Sure.
And I said, maybe we're putting on a facade that we're perfect. We need to write a book about all these mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think the book is 15 chapters, and we could have wrote 20 chapters because there's a whole lot more states
16,
that
I
didn't
think.
make it.
Are you, the reaction towards the book and the bakery and the business, you've gotten a lot of attention off of it. Did that surprise you that folks are so warm and accepting and wanting to learn more about your sons?
Absolutely, yes. Especially with the book, we're math people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
He's taking college algebra. He's taking in pre-calculus.
Last year I took
So we're
college.
math people. So when a librarian calls and says the book is good, I was surprised.
Now, if folks want to get the book, by the way, we are talking to Shane and Nigel Mushambi along with their mom, Trinda. They are the owners of Two Brothers in the Kitchen. The website for them is www.2, the number 2, BROSITK.com. And we're talking about their business. If someone wants to get the book, where can they order it? Can they order it off of Amazon, on the website? How does that work?
They can order off our website.
Okay.
You already gave the address. If you order off our website, they get an autographed copy, and they can order off Amazon.
Okay. And I'd asked them about going around. Do you work with them to go around and speak to kids and talk to them and work as an inspiration for maybe kids wanting to start their own businesses?
Yes.
They have. They're getting more into. They're going to be going to a couple of the public schools and teaching. And I think they're working on a couple of kits that
Yeah.
really show kids how to do a business. You just have to have a passion. You don't have to be
Right.
perfect.
Have a passion, be perfect. If you could give someone, well, you've given a couple of great ideas, but if you could share some advice with a mom or a dad or a family that wants to launch a business with their kids like this, what would you tell them through what you've learned?
Instead of giving them money to buy their DSs or buy them the stuff they need to earn their own money.
Let them earn their own. That was always a big thing with me. I had to go out, I mowed a lot of lawns. I'd rather be baking than mowing lawns. That seems like a lot more fun. You know, I did a lot of that. Where do you see in the next few years this going? I know Shane is a student with HCC and he wants to go into engineering. Do you see this continuing for the next few years as they go into high school and move on?
I don't know. There's some days that they're like, and we're like, oh my God, this is too hard.
Right.
I mean, there's some days when you touch someone's heart, you know the reason why you're doing it.
Sure.
So we'll just have to see what the future.
What's been the most rewarding thing for you guys?
I don't know, just like helping other people out, earning some money, of course.
Sure.
Oh yeah, just going to schools and just talking about how you can be successful. Okay.
Shane, what do you think?
I'm trying to think what the best moment was.
Maybe when the kid with the vitiligo reached out to you.
Yeah, I read about that. Tell us about that and how they reached out to you.
Wait, was this the person who said they wanted to bake more?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, on Instagram they said, what is it called? What is it called? They said that we inspired them to start cooking.
So they were inspired by you and your story.
Yes.
Does that make you feel pretty good when that
Yes.
happens? Yeah. And where do you see, and I asked you earlier about your career. Nigel, I'm going to ask you, where do you see your career in the future? What would you like to do besides play games, which we
how'd
know
you
you're
know?
very good at? You're the best one here.
Easily.
Easily. Okay.
Highly doubt.
You think about it.
Do you like baking and the fact that you maybe want to do this as a...
No.
No, you don't think so, huh?
Maybe like a teacher.
Being a teacher?
Something with math though.
Right.
Something maybe
Well,
like
you're the
a,
CFO. That makes sense, you know.
maybe a, what do you call it? Yeah, maybe an engineer or a electrical engineer.
Electrical engineer. Well, you know, the math will do you real good with that as well.
Engineer.
You've been homeschooling both of them, and you got one of them enrolled in HCC. Tell me how that was and how that came about.
Well, he's academic advanced in mathematics, and we're good to the point where he just need to be challenged at a higher level. So it was a pretty easy process. He had to take the TSI,
Right.
or you can take the SAT or ACT. It was just the time of it. He took the TSI, he passed the TSI, and just enrolled in classes. And
Well-
he actually goes to campus.
I was surprised they
Right.
passed the English TSI the first try. I was
Well,
happy about that one.
Trinda, you've got two remarkable young men and a great idea and a very inspirational story, and we're proud to have him at HCC, and we're proud to have you guys here. Thanks for joining us here on the topic.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. If you'd like to learn more about Two Brothers in the Kitchen, their website, www.2brositk.com. For the topic on HCC TV, I'm Todd Duplantis. We'll see you next time.